Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach, the latest game in the Five Nights series, is considered the most controversial and mysterious game. Despite the game being almost a year old at the point of writing this video, fans are still scratching their heads over its many secrets. I'm going to try to make sense of a few of those secrets and how they may relate to the upcoming DLC. Most FNAF fans know about the Staffbot Silo in Security Breach, which is this area in the sewer section of the game that is filled with destroyed, vandalized Staffbots. This reference to the Afton family and these post-it notes. These post-it notes range from nonsensical scratchings to decently understandable children's drawings. While there is no explicit explanation for these notes in the game, they have become topics of discussion for many theories. Due to the FNAF franchise leaning more sci-fi horror and how other installments have contained intelligent human robots, many theorists believe that these notes belong to a human robot slowly coming into consciousness. The most crucial part of this theory being that two of these notes are written in binary, roughly translating to Y is I. The writers started writing like a computer, questioning their own existence, but then evolved to writing more and more like a real person. Still though, other fans are not on board with this idea, and if the writer really is an intelligent human robot, then there really is no way at this point to tell what their identity is. However, with the announcement of the free DLC for Security Breach, Ruin, many people believe we will be getting confirmation on what this whole part of the game means. I have come to believe that the girl in the Ruin poster is the author of the post-it notes, and the one who was hiding in the sewers. In order to understand my reason, let's look at how both the sewer segment of the game and the DLC is connected to Chica. The codename for Ruin was Chowder, and as Steelwool Studios kept hinting and teasing the DLC, they kept referencing Chowder. They even released this poster art for a charity stream done by YouTuber Dawko, Chica's Chowder. In the actual announcement poster for Ruin, the only animatronic seen is this ruined Chica. Much like how Freddy became an ally to Gregory, many think that Chica will be an ally to this little girl, or will at least be linked to her in some way. This is important because the Staffbot Silo post-it notes don't just appear in that room. Some of them appear in earlier points of the sewer segment, as if the writer had dropped pieces of their notes near their main collection while they were walking about the sewers, creating a kind of broken trail. And what takes place in that sewer area? The Shattered Chica boss fight. But also in that sewer, and by some of those notes, is a small grouping of Chica-related merch. Yes, there's some Freddy cups and plates here, but the rest is related to Chica. There's a Chica mask, Chica bin, Chica shoes, and this Chica plush. A plush that has a tag with a skull and crossbones written on it. At first, I thought the tag was unique to this specific Chica plush, but checking every other Chica plush in the game shows that they also have the skull and crossbones writing on their tags. But it's only the Chica plushies. The Freddy, Monty, and Roxy plushies just have regular tags. It's clear that the child living in the sewers has a fascination with Chica, but if the Chica plush tags have been vandalized throughout the Pizzaplex, then that means that this person has ventured outside of the sewers. Of course she has. Because not only have people not realized that there are notes right before the Staffbot Silo, but there are also notes right after the Staffbot Silo. Walking up the stairs in the Staffbot Silo leads you to this room. A room that has these white paper notes on the floor. Much like how duplicates of the colored post-it notes reappear throughout areas of the sewer, duplicates of these white notes reappear throughout the Pizzaplex, such as in the different offices. But this room has the biggest amount of them in one place. And again, we see them right after the room with the colored post-it notes. The fact that these white notes appear in offices makes people think that they've been written by some employee of the Pizzaplex. After all, they do seem to be written by an adult, with intelligible writing and decent drawings. But remember, the colored post-it notes had already shown progression of intelligence. What if these white post-it notes are just another stage of intelligence that the writer has reached? I don't think the white paper notes are disconnected from the colored ones. I think their proximity to each other in this part of the game shows that they're by the same writer. We see a small, scattered amount of colored post-it notes in the sewers, which become a large collection of them in the Staffbot silo, and then up the stairs from that silo, they become the white notes. Almost as if the writer had been living in the sewers, set up a home within the Staffbot silo before gaining the strength and intelligence to venture up the stairs and use the white paper notes from the boxes in that room to start creating drawings that reflected their more lucid thoughts. One of the white notes does say shipment import pending 6 a.m., which would imply it's a note from an employee, but I don't think it actually is. The colored post-it notes were written from the perspective of a child who was hanging out in a pizzeria. There was mentions of birthdays, pizza, and parties with friends. Maybe the change in the writing isn't just a progression of intelligence, but a progression of age. They're growing up from a young child customer of the pizzeria to an adult employee. Before, they were drawing about childlike things, but now they're writing about things an adult would care about, like a shopping list and a reminder to get more toilet paper. Again, they're not actually an employee, they just perceive themselves to be one. One of the notes you see throughout the Pizzaplex says, "Tools Box." And in that room above the Staffbot silo, right by the white notes on the floor, are tools and boxes. And by those tools is a tool bench that has this endoskeleton blueprint. This endoskeleton blueprint points out the cortex and cranial features of the endoskeleton, the brain of the robot. The schematics detail how the cranial housing of the robot can be updated with additional parts, seemingly to upgrade its intelligence. This could be another piece of evidence to point to the writer of the notes is a robot with a growing intelligence, aging from the mind of a child to an adult. Just like Gregory, they were exploring the Pizzaplex, leaving their notes around and vandalizing robots. And yet, Gregory and this girl missed each other, and in every single possible ending in Security Breach, whether Gregory leaves or destroys the Pizzaplex, this little girl was likely still inside. I think the Ruin DLC will be her side of the story. As the Pizzaplex is destroyed and in ruin in the poster, it will likely be a follow-up to the main game. But as Gregory seems to need help again, it will be up to the DLC girl to save him, meaning that they'll hopefully find themselves face to face. However, I don't think it's just going to end in their meeting. I think it's going to be something much more emotionally powerful. Near that group of staff bots representing the Afton family in the silo is this painting. It's hard to tell what it is. It appears to be wood with some lights on it, but digging into the files of the game shows that this texture is called alberi di legno. Alberi di legno is Italian for wooden trees, and looking alberi di legno up online shows that it's associated with these kinds of Christmas trees. Carvings or structures of wood decorated with traditional Christmas lights. That's what this painting is, which means that these staff bots don't just represent the Afton family at a dinner table, it represents them celebrating Christmas. That's why there's a gift box on the table. The author of the post-it notes has built a scene of a family celebrating Christmas, and I think that's what they truly desire. A family who live in a home and celebrate the holidays together. Maybe Ruin won't just conclude in the meeting of Gregory and the Ruin girl as friends, but as members of a new family. Security Breach Ruin may end up being the journey of a child who comes into consciousness in a dark, dirty, scary sewer, and then they venture up to the surface and into the outside world. And maybe the Staffbot child dream of celebrating Christmas will finally come true, and so will our dreams of solving the mysteries of this game. Thanks for watching.